In this video, I'll show you how to compare multiple phenotypes at once. Let's set the minimum p-value threshold to 5 and sort by the number of cases. And we'll make more room for our visualizations. Click on the checkboxes next to some of the phenotypes you want to compare. Let's try adding these 3 quantitative traits. I think they're biomarkers. This will circle the phenotypes in the PheWAS plot. Clicking the Filter to Selected checkbox will hide other phenotypes from view. This will assign temporary color codes to the phenotypes as well. Now let's go over to the gene plot and click Color by Trait. The gene plot transparency is set to 0.8. This allows me to hover over top of phenotypes, and it will bring variant associations to the forefront belonging to those phenotypes. I can also hover over individual variants, and these will be highlighted on the plot. I can drag the transparency slider down to see how the variant p-values differ across phenotypes without having to hover. To remove the common variants from the plot, I can drag this frequency filter down to focus on the rare variants. Note how phenotypes and their color codes are also added to the variant table. With the long table format, each row represents a phenotype variant association. Switching to the wide table format will pivot the table such that each row once again becomes a unique variant, and association statistics become columns. Clicking on the Stat button will simplify the table, showing just p-values and betas. I can then sort on one of the phenotypes and scroll horizontally to see other phenotype p-values at this variant site. I'll go ahead and bring all the hidden phenotypes back and clear the selected phenotypes. After clearing the selection, I'll pick a few other phenotypes. I can fold out the case control tracks to visualize differences in positional distribution and allele frequency of variants across phenotypes and across cases and controls. I can adjust the colors of the variants, choosing consequence, p-value, beta, trait type, or homozygous state. I'll go ahead and select only predicted loss of function variants and take a closer look at the disorders of lipoprotein metabolism case control track. We can see there are a fair number of lower frequency predicted loss of function variants in cases relative to controls. We can also see that this analysis has a high case sample size. Compare this with a phenotype that has a reasonably strong p-value but a much smaller sample size, around 1600. We can see there are fewer variants overall in this phenotype, but the circles in the visualization are larger, which means these variants have a higher allele frequency. It's also possible to see which variants have been reported in the GWAS catalog. Clicking Highlight will draw a purple circle around those variants, whereas clicking Filter will show only those variants. Clicking the GWAS catalog column displays a purple indicator next to the variants that have been reported in the GWAS catalog. Hovering over top of that indicator will give some information about publications. Clicking on the variant and selecting the wide table option will allow you to see detailed catalog entries, and you can follow links to publications.